As annoying as they can be, safety regulations are put in place for a good reason. Some of us like to think we know better or can get away with bending the rules, but when it comes to railways and running trains, nobody is above the rules of safety, as the Russian royal family proved in 1888. After railways had proven themselves to be both a fast and safe means of transport, it wasn't long before many royal families across Europe had their own personal carriages built to travel in. Some even had entire trains assembled for them to ensure they had both a comfortable and pleasurable ride. One such family was the Russian royal family, who had a fleet of 15 carriages to ferry them around the Russian Empire. For many years, this train served the royal family well, but by 1888 it was starting to show more and more signs of wear and tear. On top of this, the weight of the train meant it wasn't suitable to travel along every part of the Russian railway network, especially as it had to be pulled by two freight engines in order to achieve the high top speed the royal family demanded. Sergei Yitte, manager of Southwestern Railways in Ukraine at the time, often warned the royal family that it was dangerous for them to travel on certain parts of the line at such high speeds with such a heavy train, advising they slow down their train for their safety. This led to Tsar Alexander III publicly chastising both Yitte and his railway, making some unsavoury remarks about how the chairman of the line was Jewish. Alexander III continued to ignore Yitte's warnings, running the royal train as he pleased until the 29th of October 1888, when the warnings came true. The royal family was travelling from Crimea to St. Petersburg along the Southwestern Railway, and though the train was within the weight limit set by the railway for freight, it was travelling dangerously close to express speeds, something heavy trains weren't permitted to do. It's unknown exactly what happened next, but one moment, the Tsar and his family were passing through Borki, having coffee in the dining car. The next, they were being thrown about as their carriage tumbled off the line. From the pictures and what I've read in reports, it seems the engines pulling the train derailed and quickly stopped, with the momentum of the carriages causing them to either smash into each other or derail. Reports say that 21 people died upon impact, and that another 2 later died due to their injuries. Miraculously, every member of the royal family aboard survived the accident, and supposedly, Alexander himself held up the roof of the collapsed carriage they were in to allow the rest of his family to escape. It's unknown exactly how many people were injured in the incident, with the number being estimated somewhere between 14 and 35. An investigation was launched immediately to find the cause of the accident, but officials could never agree on an answer. A professional engineer insisted that the sleepers used by the railway were old and rotten, with a public lawyer arguing that the railway was at fault, with the contractor tasked with building the line being publicly blamed for using poor quality ballast that failed to properly cushion the tracks. Yitte, who was also tasked with finding the cause of the accident, in turn blamed the government, blaming the royal train for speeding, one report suggesting it was travelling at 26 miles an hour at the time of the crash. The royal train was also known to have several technical flaws that made it unsafe to use at speed, but was still operated regardless. In the end, Alexander had the case quietly closed, with no real cause ever being settled on, though a newspaper published later in 1906 mentioned the director of the Caucasian Railway had shot himself shortly after the accident, suggesting the incident may have been an attempt on the life of the Tsar and his family. Regardless, a new royal train was put together shortly afterwards that was used until 1917 without incident. The accident, however, did leave its mark on the royal family, as Alexander III died around 6 years later due to a kidney failure, caused from the blunt force trauma he received in the crash. His son, Nicholas II, still travelled by train after taking the throne, but would often request it to slow down when he felt it was travelling too quickly. Like I said earlier, rules and regulations are put in place for a good reason. Sure, you might get away with going a little further than the rules permit from time to time, but let Alexander III be a reminder that, no matter who you are, if you push your luck too much, there's a good chance it'll push back. Subscribe for more.